Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here, and today we are going over the patch notes for update 11.0 and letting you guys know what you need to know for this patch. Link to the patch article will be in the description down below. You can get a free day of premium time by clicking on a link that's hidden somewhere in this article. It's different for everyone, so just make sure you go through here, take a quick peruse through, find that free day of premium time so you can get that for your grinds. Alright, so 11.0, first off, and again, any relevant image or artwork will be thrown up on screen as I go through this patch change blog. Alright, so first up, 11.0, this is of course beginning early access to the Pan-Asian cruisers, the line of HE spammy cruisers that also get deep water torpedoes. So let's see what they have to say about the early access event. So, completing combat missions will earn you a new temporary resource, Pan-Asian tokens, as well as ships, the Tier 5, the Chungking, and the Tier 7, the Chumphon, for completing the second and fourth combat mission groups respectively. Pan-Asian tokens can also be obtained from random bundles available for doubloons, free daily bundles, and in exchange for community tokens in the Armory. Pan-Asian tokens are a new temporary resource that can be earned for completing combat mission groups. Moreover, Pan-Asian tokens can be obtained from random bundles available for doubloons, free daily bundles, and exchange for community tokens in the Armory. I like how they have that in there twice, I'm not kidding. Rewards for Pan-Asian tokens. Sequential bundles with the Tier 6, the Ramat, that's the Dido, and the Tier 8, the Harbin. Silk Sunrise permanent camouflage for researchable Pan-Asian Tier 7 to 10 cruisers, plus other rewards. Now, I actually do like this Silk Sunrise camo. They have it here on the Harbin. It's a nice, subtle camo. It's got the nice golden dragon in there. A lot of these early access camos are kind of really gaudy and such. I think I talked about this a few days ago. But I do like this one. This one looks really nice. Art department, as always, knocking it out of the park. Now, here's something big that a lot of you asked me to talk about in yesterday's video. If you want to get the Tier 10, the Jinan, which is the Austin with deep water torpedoes and a couple other tweaks, you can outright buy it for 20,000 doubloons after you obtain all the sequential bundles for tokens. So that's something. Now, I mean, in my mind, you know what you're buying. You're getting the Jinan. There's no type of hiding it from anybody. It's not locked behind a paywall. It's locked behind a grind wall. Well, I guess you could technically buy the random bundles to get the tokens, but I mean, you know what you're getting. You know what you have to pay through to get it. You have to buy all the sequential bundles to get to it, so you know what you need to do to get that, and on top of the 20,000 doubloons. Is an early access event. I would, again, as I do with all early access events, just strongly encourage you guys to just go through, get the ships you can get for free, and wait another 2 patches, and these ships will be available to research for everybody. Now, the Xinjiang, which is the Tier 9, it's back in random bundles for doubloons, which is interesting. They took a step away from this in the Soviet Sea Siege and German battlecruiser event, but now they're putting the Xinjiang back in random bundles, and I am not a big fan of that at all. Again, I would encourage no one to buy these random bundles, or heck, even the Jinan. Again, these are going to be free ships. But if you want early access to them, I mean, sure money, you do what you want with it, but I would discourage it. Alright, so in addition to the Pan-Asian cruises, also this patch will see the return of asymmetric battles. So, in the last 2 weeks of the update, we will see the return of asymmetric battles, a temporary battle type with a different distribution of ships and tiers between them. So they're beginning on February 2nd, and they will end on February 16th. Now, the up-tier team will be made up of Tier 9 and 10 ships, and there will be 6 to 8 ships on that team. The down-tier team will be made up of Tier 7 to 8 ships, and they will have 9 to 12 team members on that team. And they are only available during prime times, kind of like ranked as well. And if you want to play a Tier 9 to 10 ship, you must have a battle token that you can only earn by playing Tier 7 to 8 ships in this mode. Like how this is essentially just a bit of a failed division going up against a Tier 9 to 10 team. But yeah, asymmetric battles, I'm happy to see it return. Like I've said before, these temporary battle types. I like to see them get added in on a regular basis on some type of rotating game mode every week. But it looks like we're getting kind of a new one every patch or so for at least some duration of the patch. So we're getting there. Also, this this is something. This patch will also see super ships in random battles. Now, this is, I do believe, still in testing, but let's see what they have to say about this. Super ships and their mechanics have been of great interest to players so far, and these ships may one day become a full-fledged part of World of Warships. In the future, we want to continue the existing branches by adding super ships. We consider this to be a logical step, and we are confident that super ships do not fit into Tier 10 because of their superiority over their predecessors in terms of their performance characteristics. This is a big and important decision for World of Warships. For this reason, we've planned thorough testing of the super ships based on our previous experiences. We've carefully monitored both the data we received and your feedback. The current ranked season has shown that super ships fit into the current game concept and have been warmly received by players. Therefore, starting from update 11.0, the testing of super ships will continue not only in ranked and co-op battles, but also in random battles. Random battles have a different format compared to ranked battles, 12 versus 12. It's important to test super ships in these conditions because they significantly change the battle tempo and density, which means that the effectiveness of super ships may change. The high popularity of random battles will allow us to collect necessary statistics and get the feedback for further development of super ships. Only Tier 9 and 10 ships will be able to participate in battles with super ships, and the standard restriction of the number of ships of certain types and tiers apply in battle. So this is literally tier 11. That's literally what's happening now with these super ships. But yeah, so starting tomorrow, for North America at least, we will be able to take super ships into random battles. Like I talked about on Monday's video about the direction that the game is going, I do expect that this will be what we see in the future. We're going to have essentially tier 11 with these super ships. Now, I don't know if they have the economy in place just yet. They mentioned that they wanted these super ships to have essentially a negative economy, to where you will basically lose money playing them in battle because of the high number of credits in game already. It's like they're fighting inflation. I often refer to it as that because they kind of are, because it was really easy for years for veteran players to just stack up millions and millions and millions and millions, if not billions, of credits on their account, which kind of takes out a big grind in the game. So yeah, tier 9 and 10 are going to be real interesting for this patch. But following that news, some good news for a large part of you. Submarines are being removed with this patch and will not return until after update 11.2. So we have two patches, until 11.2. So they're going from 11.0, 11.1, and they're scheduled to return on 11.2. That's what they have planned right now, but that could change. I don't imagine at all that they'd add them back in any sooner. I do imagine potentially a patch or two later, if they have the same issues that they've been having trying to balance them. So we get two patches without submarines, but we got one patch with super ships and randoms for sure. Alright, Brawls is coming back. Just be aware of that. We have the 7th Brawl, which will be from January 24th through the 31st. And then we'll have the 8th Brawl on the 7th through the 14th of February. It's going to be the first Brawl. The 7th Brawl will be 3v3 on Tier 5 ships. Let's go, Asymmetric. And then the 8th Brawl will be on Tier 7 ships, only on 2v2. And for the 7th Brawl, the restriction is no more than 2 ships of each type per team. 8th Brawl is no more than 1 battleship per team. Tier 5 Brawl actually sounds really fun. Ships like the Asymmetric, a lot of the Dreadnought style battleships still are at Tier 5. That sounds like genuine fun. Take out your war canoes too. I imagine that'll be quite fun. So overall, the rewards for these two brawls, you can get up to 10,000 coal, 2.2 million credits, 80,000 elite commander XP, and 72 combat and economic signals. Some changes that I'm not sure if Wargaming announced these or not, because this is the first time I'm seeing. I might have missed it in all the holiday time and such, but they are standardizing fighters across the board for carriers now. So, yeah, okay. So listen to this. For convenience in interacting with aircraft and maintain the progression throughout ship tiers, we have standardized the characteristics of all carrier base and patrol fighters, including those carried by premium and special ships. So I'll just take a screenshot of this graph. I'll leave it up on the screen for a few seconds if you guys want to check that out. Now, what is really interesting is that they are not changing the Bearns fighters. Because in their own words, and I'll leave that in there on the screenshot too, the changes will not affect the amount of HP of Bearns fighters because powerful fighters with a small field of view are one of the features of the ship. So, yeah, really random change here, and it might cut back on some frustration because I know a lot of players get frustrated with how slow their fighters are to chase down certain aircraft and stuff, and I'm not exactly sure how this may or may not affect that, but we'll see what this does. But yeah, everything's the same now for fighters and patrol fighters and catapult fighters apparently. So all right there, wargaming. Now the Armory, one big addition to the Armory, the Incomparable, or the Incomprehensible as I like to call her. She's being added to the Armory for 31,000 steel. She has 6 508mm guns with a high rate of fire according to Wargaming, and she gets 2 quad tube torpedo tubes with good torpedo range, and she can single drop torpedoes as well. And she's also quite fast. This is essentially like a mega repulse, if you will. So again, that's 31,000 still in the Armory starting tomorrow, and my review for her will probably be up the day after. Alright, also some more additions to the game. Agincourt is being added in the Armory for Doubloons, a very fun tier 5 battleship. She's kind of like a mini Conqueror, not a mini Conqueror, well, you know, a mini Conqueror. She's got 14 guns with secondaries. She's a really fun secondary boat, and if she costs the same amount as a normal tier 5 premium ship, I would say she's worth it. My review for her is still up if you want to go check that out. I do enjoy her quite a bit. Alright, some other changes. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on, well, if you're a DD player, fortunately, if you're a German battleship player, unfortunately, they have patched the bug that made secondaries and torpedoes and AA guns invincible, so the Schlieffen is now a mere mortal, unfortunately. I'm sure that's going to cut back on, well, not all the secondary memes that happen with Schlieffen, but a lot of the secondary madness that could happen with Schlieffen in the current patch when I'm recording this will be unfortunately gone for those of us that enjoy German battleships, but it was a major bug, it was a major problem, it did need to be fixed. We had our fun, but unfortunately it's time to suffer. Also, too, starting tomorrow, the GK and Caballeros will be replaced with the Prussian and the Downey, respectively. So, if you haven't gotten them grinded out yet and you want a couple of free coal ships, you got, well, today left to do that. Well, today and tomorrow if you don't live in NA. But if you live in NA, you just got today to get that done. Again, you just need to research them. You don't need to purchase them in order to get the Kaba and the Gross Occur first in their special ship variant after the patch tomorrow. So guys, that's the main points of this patch and what you need to know for this patch. I do encourage you guys to check out the article in full if you want to see all the other content addition and changes. There's a couple other smaller changes and bug fixes and stuff too if you want to check that out in this article. Again, link to it is in the description down below. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Tuesday. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 35,000 subs, and I can't thank you guys enough for that. Hope you're all having a wonderful Tuesday and a wonderful week. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.